The United States government just killed its own digital currency program, not paused it, not reviewed it, killed it. And what Congress accidentally did in that moment is hand XRP the most valuable vacuum in financial history. Today, we are going to break down exactly what that means, why the infrastructure replacement is already live, and what a potential US-Iran ceasefire extension means for crypto markets right now. This is XRP Verified. Let us get into it. Let us start with the testimony that reframes everything. Eric Van Miltenburg, Senior Vice President at Ripple, testified directly before Congress, and his words were clinical. He said, "We are not going to have a CBDC in the United States for decades, not years, decades." Then he explained why. Congress and the White House together have directed the Federal Reserve to stop all development work on a retail CBDC. The program is not under review. It is stopped. The political argument was privacy. One party told American voters, "Elect us and we will kill the CBDC because we will protect your freedom." Americans responded. The program died. Now here is where most people stop paying attention, and where the real story begins. The Bank of England is building tokenized settlement rails right now. The European Central Bank is building. The Bank of Japan is building. They are converting central bank reserves into tokenized form. They are preparing 24-hour settlement infrastructure. And the United States, the largest financial market in the world, is not. Van Miltenburg's warning to Congress was direct. If the rest of the world moves forward and we suddenly need this infrastructure, we are going to have serious problems. That is not speculation. That is documented testimony from the man building the alternative. When a government kills its own infrastructure, something always fills that gap. The question is never whether the vacuum gets filled. The question is, who fills it first? And the answer in this case is not theoretical. It has a name, it has a launch date, and it was confirmed by the most powerful settlement institution in American finance. Ripple Prime will settle across the XRP ledger through the DTCC tokenization engine. It begins July 13, 2026. Full-scale production in October. Now here is the detail that makes this date extraordinary. July 13, 2023 was the day Judge Annalisa Torres ruled that XRP is not a security. That was the legal breakthrough. July 13, 2026, exactly 3 years later to the day, is the infrastructure breakthrough. One date removed the legal barrier. The other activates the technological replacement. The same date, 3 years apart. That is not a coincidence. That is a timeline. The DTCC's own Chief Technology Officer confirmed the architecture publicly. By using smart contracts to automate the full range of collateral operations, they enable complex trade execution across markets in real time at any time, even in volatile conditions. And the DTCC's head of innovation named the killer application directly, collateral mobility. The ability for institutions to move assets in real time at any hour without waiting for T+1 or T+2 settlement cycles. That is what the XRP ledger was built to do, and the DTCC just confirmed it as the core use case for institutional blockchain adoption. Franklin Templeton's head of innovation, Sandy Call, added the vision that most people missed. Her exact words, "We are not looking to recreate the world that exists today in financial services. We realize that these technologies give us the power to redesign that world and make it better, make it more accessible, make assets work more effectively." Then she added the structural point. This is a network-driven business. Translation: the value does not grow linearly. Every new institution that joins makes the network more valuable for every existing participant. That is exponential growth, not gradual adoption. Now let us talk about what is already live on the XRP ledger right now, because the migration is not coming. It is already happening. The XRP ledger has reached $4.7 billion in tokenized real-world assets. That number grew 59% in 30 days. Ono Finance holds $323 million in tokenized U.S. Treasury products on the XRP ledger. Guggenheim and Open Eden have added additional tokenized instruments. ARX, a UK-regulated digital securities exchange, has committed to bringing $1 billion in additional assets onto the ledger by mid-2026. Société Générale launched its regulated euro stablecoin on the XRP ledger in February 2026. Aviva Investors announced a tokenization partnership with Ripple. Deutsche Bank integrated Ripple's technology for cross-border payments. And then there is Australia. And this one is the signal that most people have not connected yet. The Reserve Bank of Australia collaborated with Ripple and Chainlink to demonstrate that RLUSD, Ripple's one-to-one US dollar stablecoin, can settle tokenized Commonwealth Treasury instruments around the clock, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. A central bank validated RLUSD as a settlement rail for sovereign debt instruments. Not a startup, not a proof of concept, a central bank. The United States killed its CBDC. Australia just proved it does not need one, because RLUSD and the XRP ledger already provide the same function without requiring a government to build anything. Now let us talk about the supply side, because this is where the math becomes unavoidable. The XRP supply is not expanding to meet this institutional demand. It is contracting. Every institution that joins the network does not add supply, it removes it. $4.7 billion in tokenized assets require settlement in XRP. $1 billion more committed by mid-2026 require settlement. DTCC clearing volumes require settlement. Deutsche Bank cross-border payments require settlement. And the only asset designed for fast final settlement on this ledger is XRP. OTC desks are running dry. Institutional custody is pulling tokens off exchanges. The demand curve is multiplying. The supply curve is fixed. That is not a prediction. That is a mathematical constraint. Now let us address something happening in global markets right now that is directly affecting crypto prices. Reports are emerging that the United States and Iran may be approaching an extension of their ceasefire agreement, potentially a 60-day extension that would reopen the Strait of Hormuz and pause military action on both sides. If confirmed, this matters for crypto markets for one direct reason. Geopolitical uncertainty has been suppressing risk asset prices, including XRP and Bitcoin, over recent weeks. A confirmed ceasefire extension removes that uncertainty premium from the market. When fear exits, capital returns to risk assets. We have already seen the early signs of this in crypto prices recovering from recent lows. If the agreement is formally announced and confirmed, the macro headwind that has been holding prices down gets removed. That does not change the XRP fundamentals we just covered. It removes the temporary weight sitting on top of them. Let me bring all of this together. Congress killed the US CBDC. That created the most valuable infrastructure vacuum in financial history. Ripple spent 8 years building the replacement. The DTCC confirmed Ripple Prime will settle on the XRP ledger starting July 13th. Franklin Templeton confirmed the network is being redesigned, not recreated. Australia's central bank validated RLUSD as a sovereign debt settlement rail. The XRP ledger now holds $4.7 billion in real-world assets, growing 59% in 30 days. The supply is fixed and contracting, while institutional demand is multiplying. And a potential geopolitical resolution in the Middle East removes the macro uncertainty that has been suppressing prices. The noise says the US fell behind on digital currency. The structure says the US outsourced the future to the one company that was already ready. The infrastructure is not theoretical. It is live. It has a date, and that date is July 13, 2026. Stay informed, stay patient, stay positioned. If this video gave you real value today, subscribe to XRP Verified. I cover these developments every single day, so you always know what is happening before the rest of the market figures it out. I will see you in the next one.